Hello and welcome to a brand new recap video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We see a wealthy young woman who happens to be the last princess of her country, Enos, reading an article in the newspaper about her marriage life and how it might come to an end. The article highlighted her as the villain and she crumbled it all up out of anger, saying that all of this is just a rumor. She calls her servant Nathan and tells him to find the bastard who wrote all this oblivious stuff. Nathan enters and asks the princess to be calm, as these are just articles that hardly anyone reads. She just didn't want her image in the society to be ruined, and that is her only concern. Nathan vows to catch anyone who either distributes these rumors and will anyone who spreads such things. The princess, better known as Urdella Inuas, was already expecting such rumors, and that she was not going to repeat the mistakes she had made in the future. In a flashback, we see the princess grieving over her father's recent demise, and now she must ascend the throne, but she was too young at the moment. Her older cousin Christian, who seemed innocent at the time, volunteered to run the country until she was of age. Urdella was young and naive at the time and trusted him without any doubts. She was later on married to Joshua, who seemed like a ray of hope and a person who she could love, but all that was just a lie. All of her dreams and castles came crashing down one by one when she saw Joshua was cheating on her and how her older cousin Christian took her nobility away so that he could ascend the throne. Christian had planned it from the start. He locks Urdella in the tower to suffer. In her despair, looking out the bars, wonders if she could rewrite things. She dies at the age of 27, all alone and cold due to her own mistakes that she had made in her youth. However, she wakes up in her old bed and realizes that she isn't dead, but in fact she's woken up 3 years in the past with the ability to read lies, which she discovers when a maid rushes to find out if the princess was alright, but in fact she didn't care at all. Now with this newfound skill and the determination to not make the same mistakes that she had made in the future, Urdella decided to avenge all those who wronged her and get all that was taken from her. Her wealth, her love, her statues. While thinking of all this, Nathan brings a letter sent by Joshua for her. She picks it up and remembers how and her custom lovers got married at 20 years of age and how she loved Joshua so much. He was just a royal knight, a commoner, but handsome and kind. She had loved him nonetheless, but Joshua had cheated on her with her cousin and made it look as if he had dumped her. But this time, Princess Urdella knew all of this as she had lived through it. Nathan asks what reply will she send. The princess hands it back, saying to forget the letter, but Nathan knows that a response must be sent back. She tells him to make up a story that somehow all the letters for today have been misplaced or something, and burns the letter. She then orders Nathan to ready the carriage as she wants to meet Joshua and give him a gift called revenge. She heads over and demands to see Joshua. She already knew that Joshua must be with her cousin. She brings him out, throws him to the ground. Joshua taunts her that she is doing all of this because of the letter, but Urdella doesn't know what he is talking about and asks Nathan. Nathan apologizes to Sir Joshua as he tells him that all the mail sent today was misplaced and that his servants had been notified, but only Joshua didn't know as he was busy somewhere else. Joshua begs Urdella, but she steps away, saying that they aren't married anymore, so he should be more mindful as to how he speaks to royalty if he doesn't want to be beheaded. Cousin Lily rushes out before Urdella gives the order to execute him. Lily taunts Urdella that Joshua chose her because she has prettier than her. Urdella orders her guards to bring her forward. Lily thinks that she is just acting all high and mighty, but in reality, Urdella was going to execute her. In all this commotion, we see a prince roaming around. It's his first time in Anuas. He roams around when he hears a scream. He watches from afar and sees that Princess Urdella swung her sword and cut Lily's hair as a warning. He labels her as a fiery woman. Urdella, on the other hand, degrades Lily by reminding her that she always wanted she had since she was a kid, and that how she would cry endlessly, only stopping when I would give her my things. Just like that, she wanted her fiancé. Joshua steps in, but Urdella moves away, saying that they are no longer together, and if he calls her by a name again, then he will be executed. Joshua is shaken and kisses the princess's foot as a sign of submission. But Urdella wasn't done yet. She announces that since Joshua isn't her fiancé anymore, so he will lose his status as count and will have to return all his land, wealth, and status back to her. Joshua is even more devastated and begs Urdella to spare him, but she further adds to his demise that he can no longer work on royal grounds until death. All of her staff bared witness as she took everything back from Joshua. Lily calls her a villainess for causing such cruelty, and Urdella laughs and says that it took her long enough to recognize her true intent. She returns, thinking that she has now gotten revenge from Lily and Joshua, who both had been enjoying themselves. She now aims at Christian, the mastermind behind it all, and how she needs to bring him down as well. On the way back, Urdella asks Nathan to become of the culprits who spread this false accusation. Nathan notifies her that the two have been captured and are at the palace waiting for their conviction. At this moment, the carriage abruptly stops. Nathan asks why such a stop was made, and two strangers are seen asking mercy from the princess. Nathan asks them who they are, and he tells the princess that these two are the originators of the false news and they had escaped the palace to ask her forgiveness. She gets down from carriage and tells them that she didn't plan on executing them, but spreading false lies like this will hinder her reputation. The young kid tries to talk back, but he is silenced when the princess says to keep their mouths shut if they want to live. Nathan explains to the princess that the child named Yohab circulates the false newspaper, and his older brother Tony is a writer. They both run a fake article scam to earn money. Princess asks if they really did this for money, and Yohab explains that they did all this to save their family from starvation. Ardella is amazed how the young boy, despite knowing the consequences, took such a risk, and she decides to forgive them. She instructs Nathan to give them some money and also hands each of them a gold coin and asks them to spread proper news about her by giving them a chance. She explains that she was the one who called of the marriage due to Joshua's ill manners and trickery. She also asks them to deliver a copy of the article to the palace as well so she could see if they did right their wrong. The next day when she gets the article, Eldra kept laughing as how she has been portrayed as strong and decisive women. Nathan explains that the people think the reason why Princess Eldra called of the marriage was due to the reason Joshua and Lady Lily were caught in an illicit affair. She laughed even more, thinking that her brother Christian is going to lose his mind. Just then, the staff notify Nathan that Sir Christian is demanding an audience and is furious. Nathan notifies that the Duke Christian has come. Ardella mocks him by saying, "Isn't his sister the one who had an affair with her ex-fiancé?" and laughs. While smiling, she recalls all the cruelty he had done before. How he spread the rumors of being an illegitimate heir of the throne, and how all the nobles don't see her as a princess, but as a commoner. She finally made him taste his own medicine by spreading what was actually the truth about his sister's affairs. Ardella knew she had to be strong in order to fight off his cruel cousin. She taunts the Duke further by telling him that why didn't he bring his sister. Nathan laughs when she says that maybe he couldn't drag her by the hair because she cut her long locks. Christian says that he could have resolved the matter in a better way. Ardella claims that he should be grateful that she didn't cut off her head, even though she behaved in such a way with a princess. If it was someone else, that wouldn't have shown mercy. She then tells Christian that he can leave after apologizing as she is busy reading the juicy articles. Christian, hearing this, says that wasn't her who spread this rumor. But Ardella claims that it's just an article that is indeed true, as Joshua did cheat on her. Christian changes the topic by saying that it's just a false article, but he wouldn't be worried if it was. After hearing all this, Christian leaves saying that he should be notified as he is currently the head of state and all matters are approved by him. Ardella interrupts him by explaining that she will be queen in 1 week as she will be of age, and then she will expose all of Lily's explicit affairs. Christian warns her that he will find her weakness and destroy her. Christian leaves and Ardella laughs at him as he dug his own grave. She explains that he will do anything in his power to make sure engagement is broken off, because if he doesn't, the kingdom would learn about her sister's immoral actions. Nathan asks the princess that why does she look so relaxed and she should be less excited. Ardella asks him who spread such accurate details of Joshua and Lily, to which Nathan replies that it was Tony, who had interviewed Joshua's workers, and maybe during that he found about such rumors from them, which led him to writing about it in the article. She reads the newsletter more and sees that it's all filled with info about noblemen and not a single thing about commoners. She asks Nathan what is on the agenda today, and he notifies her that she needs to get her suit for her coronation, and that he can bring the royal dresser to the palace. But the princess says that she needs to go out to visit the dresses as she hasn't seen the street in a while. At the dresser's shop, we see the young princess who came in to meet the tailor, but when learned that the princess was coming by, he left saying that he will come back soon, and it's a promise. As he is leaving, the princess enters and he notices that it's the same fiery women. The princess, as soon as she enters the room, thinks that she always felt cold and uneasy wherever she went, but the shop has a weird warmth to it. She asks the tailor what type of heating system do they use, to which he explains that it's no fuel, but in fact it was the gentleman earlier who always leaves a warmth behind everywhere he goes. The princess is fascinated and says that she would love to meet him one day. The princess wears her dress and everyone loves it. Nathan explains that the tailor is his friend who studied abroad and can design various suits. Nathan asks if she likes it as the princess seems sad. She thinks that it is a beautiful dress, but before she wasn't able to celebrate her coming of age due to those 3 people who took everything from her, but now she was ready and will avenge herself even if she gets called a villain. She tells the tailor that it's perfect for the coronation. The tailor presents a gift for the princess, which is a unique tiara with a gem which he wants her to wear. He had bought it when coming back from abroad. The princess explains that jewels are hard to trade and buy in our country, and this must have cost a lot. So why is he giving this to her as a gift? He explains that this will help improve his sales, as this will promote his work when she wears this at her ceremony. The tailor also thinks that he might become the sole tailor to the queen one day this way. Princess Ardella thinks that such a shining tiara only befits her, and she must wear it, and accepts the gift. Nathan adds that if Tyra brings harm to the princess, then he will not let the tailor walk away, to which the tailor cries while saying that he won't do such a thing. While talking about jewels and gems, the princess remembers that in her old life there was a news about a mine in Inuas and that they paid for refining them. Ardella thinks that at the moment Caro is in wealth due to gems and she can make a fortune as well. She remembers the land where the mine will be discovered is under Duke Christian names, and now she knows what to do. She orders Nathan that they must return to the palace so that she can plan to make a fortune. Duke Christian comes by and hands over the articles announcing the official breaking of the marriage. She hands them to Nathan and asks him to publish it. Christian tells the princess that now she should let this facade with Lily go. Princess Ardella honors the deal and agrees that she won't speak of Lily in front of the royal court. Christian says that now it's all done, but Ardella reminds him that he still owes an apology. She tells him that the offender can't decide what to compensate with and demands an apology. Christina gets agitated and doesn't apologize. Ardella knew that he won't swallow his pride and tells him that she will accept money or land as an apology. She tricks him, saying that he can choose which land he wishes to give, as his family own a variety of land west from the kingdom. Christian thinks and immediately says Askin, to which the princess happily agrees. She asks when he can put it in her name, to which Christian says that he can do it immediately. Askin was a huge island west of the kingdom, which was a rundown place with almost no life or greenery. Christian laughs and signs the deed, labeling the land as useless like the princess, and sends over the deed, laughing that he can't wait to see the princess's face when she finds out that Askin is worthless. The princess receives the deed and signs it happily. Nathan questions her and asks that she had mentioned she was going to make a fortune and maybe she would get gold from Christian, but instead she wanted land. He also wonders why the Duke so easily gave up Ascan. Ardella tells him because Christian thinks the land is worthless, but in reality, it will be a gold mine. Nathan then laughs that the Duke has quite a big ego, as he didn't apologize but have away such a big piece of land. The princess tells Nathan that after the ceremony, he is to gather scouts and miners so that she can visit Ascan, and that soon they will run out of space in the bank and she will increase his wages threefold. While going back, the princess spots a man fighting in the market whom she remembered. The man shouts, claiming that he is Joshua's uncle and knows the princess. Ardella is sad that the news hasn't been made public yet about the breaking of the marriage. One of the women there says that the marriage is broken and that everyone knows about it. Joshua's mother joins in with a rather fierce face, which makes Ardella think that she is now safe from that two-faced witch who always had a different face on. At that time, Nathan goes down and tries to resolve the matter. Joshua's uncle recognizes him and calls him Satan instead of Nathan. Even Joshua's mother greets him, asking about the princess, that she misses her and she thinks of her as her own daughter. These were all lies, as Ardella knew when someone lied. She thinks sad thoughts that she had to die alone in misery to receive such a gift. She collects her thoughts and orders the carriage to move, as she knows that Nathan can handle the situation. Later on, the palace is being prepared for the coronation, but Nathan is still upset that the princess had left him all alone. She tells him that he could handle it, so that's why she left, which makes Nathan feel even more abandoned. She laughs and asks him. He had delivered the invitation to Joshua's house, which had weird vibes due to the article in the newspaper. He also tells her that he hasn't left his room since that day. Ardella thinks maybe he is in shock because of losing his land or maybe his status, and leaves it be. Nathan asks if she thinks he will come. Ardella replies that of course he will come and that she is not yet satisfied. She wants to torture them even more like they did to her. The day of the ceremony is here, and the princess swears in front of late parents' portrait that she will rule this kingdom with resilience. She didn't want to repeat the mistakes in her past life, as she was known for destruction of her kingdom in the past. She wanted to prove to them that she can be a good queen, and that she will crush anyone who got in the way. She goes to see Nathan, who scolds her that she should not be alone. Nathan hands her a bouquet made out of colorful papers which were sent by Tony and his brother. She is amazed to see it and loves it. Nathan also hands her a list of all the gifts the nobles end, which comprise of jewels, clothes, perfumes, and even an elephant, which the princess says to return immediately. The princess gets ready and dresses up. Everyone admires how beautiful the princess looks, and she goes to the coronation. Everyone is amazed to see the princess. The Pope gives her the blessing, nobles congratulate her, while knights pledge their allegiance. She waits for the royal necklace, which was supposed to be given by her parents, but instead Duke Christina will get the honor. She quickly pushes him away and wears the necklace herself. Everyone talks how the princess isn't giving any value to the Duke, which makes him angry. He's about to say something when the Ardella tells him to return to his seat and not make a scene. She waves to the people and dances in her dress, which everyone likes. Later on in the party, everyone greets the princess and congratulate her coming of age. One girl steps out to congratulate her, and it turns out to be Lily. Ardella didn't recognize her as her hair had changed, and she mocks her of being so quiet as she never shut up. Lily is about to take her leave, but Ardella tells her to wait. She tells Lily that her dress makes it feel as if she wasn't here to congratulate her, but to make herself look more royal. She taunts her that she knew wearing such a dress would catch everyone's attention. She claims that she did not have any other dress and wore this on a whim. Ardella knew she was lying and make it more embarrassing by ordering her maids to send clothes to the Christian family as they might be going through a tough time. She tells them to make her dark rat-colored clothes that resembles her. Lily is covered with wine. Ardella knew she would wear a flashier dress on her coronation to attract eyes, so this was the outcome. She mockingly asks if anyone wants to help Lady Lily, but no one comes up. She then throws a handkerchief and tells her to know her place. The party continues as everyone dances. Ardella looks over to see if Joshua has appeared or not. Nathan returns and asks if something happened, and from Ardella's expression, he knew something did happen. He also notifies her that Joshua is on his way as well. As soon as Joshua enters, he looks over at Ardella, who is smiling at him. He thinks maybe all is forgiven and that maybe they can be a couple again. That's why he had gotten the invitation to patch things up. He congratulates the princess and asks to kiss her hand. But the princess gets up and verifies that the truth about Joshua's and her marriage coming to an end is true, and that he is no longer her fiancé. She further explains that this happened because him and Lady Lily had intimate relations towards each other, and they would even meet in broad daylight as their love was so strong. Everyone is shocked at such a scandal. The princess tells them she will be happy to arrange their wedding as they are deeply in love, to which Lily says she would never marry Joshua. Duke Christian enters and asks Ardella why she revealed all this and that they had a deal. Ardella laughs and says that the deal was not to talk at the council's table, not here, which makes Christian even more angry as she was taunting him. Ardella tells them that this needs to be made public so that any suitor for Princess Lily can know that she loves Joshua. Several people start to talk as how they should cancel their proposals and how Princess Ardella is a saint and they can be a good leader and govern the country. Christina feels defeated and thinks that he tried his best to provide everything for her little sister. He wanted her to marry into a foreign family at this age, but she ruined it all by falling for Joshua. Lily asks her brother for help, but he knows what is to be done and says that the princess is right. She had ruined the family name and needed to be sent to the cold palace to repent. Christian knew it was the only way to save her, and this way she didn't need to marry Joshua. Ardella orders to take Princess Lily away, who accuses Ardella of being a villain. Everyone says that Lily is acting more like a villain and she is sent to the cold palace. Ardella was happy as her plan was going well. Now the Duke, Lily, and Joshua all hated each other, and she can now inflict even more pain on them. She describes the old palace where Lily is going as she had spent a lot of time there in her past life. She knows it snows all the time, that beasts roam around it. She had escaped it and managed to survive by drinking snow and hunting animals, only to take her own life after spending 10 years filled with misery and loneliness. She knows that due to this, she can rest easy for a year and can gain all the power she needs. Joshua, on the other hand, begs for another chance, but is told to get lost. Ardella then goes to make her portrait made and asks if he made her parents' portrait as well. He explains that he made that one as well and that his father was strong and kind king. He tells that it's an honor as this portrait will be his last, so he plans on making it a masterpiece. Even Ardella wants this life to be a masterpiece as she doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes. The royal banquet with foreign diplomats starts and the princess wears the tiara with the rare gem. She enters the hall and everyone is amazed except Christian, who thinks that she acting too much like a queen, as the only way to ascend the throne is to be married first. Ardella is greeted by Rosaline, who is the Duchess of the Cairo Empire. She congratulates her and is talking when Christian interrupts her by introducing himself as in charge of state affairs. Rosaline isn't impressed and feels awkward. Ardella thanks her for coming, and Rosaline is about to ask about Tara when Christian taunts it as if it were a toy. She instead says that it's beautiful. Ardella asks if she will leave tomorrow, to which Rosaline explains that she is staying for a few days with some friends and leaves. Nathan and Ardella talk about Rosaline and that maybe she wanted to ask about the tiara and how it got here but wasn't able to. The next day, all ready for her new life, she remembers how Joshua came into her life and that she met him on her mother's funeral. He brought a warmth in her, but all of that was taken away in an instant when he had sent the letter in her past life. But she knew this time she needs to make the right choice and says goodbye to Joshua forever. Nathan reminds her that she has to be part of the parade and go down the street and greet her people. She sets off and waves across all her subordinates and loves each moment of it. She suddenly spots a few shirtless men and asks Nathan to see, but he misses them and says maybe they don't like the hot weather. She mentions to Nathan that she will be going out tonight in the city to have a better view. The princess's carriage moves away and we see the young man from the tailor's shop with his friends. They all are amazed that the princess has such good support from her people and that Christian isn't the one pulling the strings. He tells them to cover up, but they remind him that it is due to his warmth that makes them sweat this much. Even in winters, they would feel warm due to Asael. In reality, Asael is the fifth emperor of Karo and descendant of the dragon clan. A long time ago, a dragon and a human fell in love, and their child was the first descendant of the clan, and they all had a warmth to them. Asael's mother was a descendant, which made Asael a descendant as well. This was the reason he always had warmth to him. They were sent her on behalf of Duke Rosaline for persuasion, so they continue their operation. Later on, Ardella starts to change clothes and is all set. Nathan asks her if this is a good idea and that she should be careful. She asks him to join in, but he has a lot of work to do, starting with the elephant. Ardella is ready with some knights by her side. They give her a potion which changes her hair color to pink, which amazes them, and they call her cute. Ardella tells them the game plan and that they are 3 bothers and 1 sister here to see the city. In this commotion, a maid passes by yelling at them at standing around in the middle of the road. Ardella is shocked to see Lily's maid again, as she only met her once in her past life. Ardella suspects Lily's maid and decides to go after her. She watches from afar that she is talking to someone who appears to be Lily. Ardella thinks that Lily should be in the cold palace by now, but she isn't. She then suspects that the girl they have isn't Lily, but someone who looks like Lily to take her place. She understands Christian's plan, as he had to keep his work and save his sister, so he made this plan. She orders Brother 1 to go after the maid and Brother 2 to go after the men and find out what's happening. She and Brother 3 went into the town to see things. They are standing around when they hear loud noises, and Ardella decides to see what's happening. It turns out that it is a circus and everyone came here to watch it. She and Brother 3 enter and see some stuff. Ardella is left speechless and terrified when the circus master shows a beast called Barg from the cold mountains as a pet. She gets flashbacks as to how she got bit by one and it hurt her until she had died. Brother 3 understands that she is afraid. People ask if it is safe or not, and the master shows that a color will shock him, so no need to worry. Ardella still feels terrified and asks Brother 3 to do something before anyone got hurt. Ardella tells him to stop this and someone might get hurt. Brother 3 tells her that he must then break his cover and tell him to stop this. He also was concerned that will the princess be all alone in the crowd. She tells him to go and resolve the matter as quickly as possible. He leaves and the master is collecting money and he slips. When he gets up, he realizes that he broke the color button, and now the BRG can break loose. He tells everyone to run as the barb pulls the tent and things fall down. Brother 3 saves the princess from falling debris and tells her that everyone is safe and only the circus master got caught in the debris. They are about to run when the barg appears. Ardella is filled with fear, and she says that she didn't came back to die again by the hands of this barg. Brother 3 steps in but gets hurt by the barg. Ardella musters up some courage and picks up a small knife. She aims to blind the barg, as she had taken self-defense classes when she was young. She sticks the knife in one of its eyes and takes the knight away. As she is about to leave, she sees the barg again. She asks someone to help the knight and to take him away while she uses the long sword to kill this nightmare as it charges towards her. Ardella plunges at the barg and strikes in multiples and gets hurt herself as well. She keeps on attacking and the barg injured her by throwing her against the wall and slashing her. She knows that the bargs don't hunt for food but for pleasure, so she needed to be careful. The barg pounced again and injured her, and she knew if she got hurt one more time that would be the end of her. She laughs and says that if she survives, she will kill the guards who were supposed to be on duty here. She gets up, ready to strike when a shinning flame distracts the barg. She seizes this moment and attacks the barg, and it falls over. She herself starts to feel lightheaded when she sees a hooded figure who commends her duel and tells that she did well. Ardella thinks it's a dream as she gets that warm sensation again and passes out. He is amazed that she took on a beast so much bigger than her and that she didn't back down once. The thing that bothered him was that why did he want to save this girl? He picks up the barg and knows that the girl will be taken to safety. He leaves and meets with his soldiers who are amazed that a barg is here and that it should only be up in the mountains. Asael tells them to find the culprit from the Empire who captured this barg and put these people in danger. He then explains that a woman was fighting it and that handling a barg is difficult for some knights as well. Asael takes a bath remembering the girl and how she resembled the princess, but he thinks that he is mistaken, and that girls in this kingdom are fragile and maybe it was Knight from another nation. He then assures himself that they had different hair colors, so it can't be the princess. But in his heart, he wants them to be the same person. The princess wakes up in the palace. Nathan rushes over and asks if she needs anything or someone. She smiles and tells him that he has become talkative. Nathan explains that the knights found her last night and brought her in. Hopefully her hair was different, that's why no one suspected it was the princess. If the council knew the princess was out dueling with a barg and died, they would spend a millennia finding a suitable heir, or they would have given Christian the throne. But thankfully, they brought the doctor from the royal hospital, so this news regarding injuries won't leak out. Ardella laughs as she holds the chemist's bottle. She asks about the boy who got hurt. Nathan explains that he is Shinville, he was treated by the doctors and is resting at the moment. She also asks about the barg, to which Nathan tells her that people said a man carried it on his shoulder. He thinks that people say anything at the heat of the moment. She tells him that they need to find this man, but they did not have any clue as to who he was and what he looked like. Nathan also tells the princess that the royal guard had an update about a Lily's situation. Ardella wanted to summon them immediately, but Nathan advises her to rest, but she explains that she needs to see the knights as Lily is trying to send someone else in her place to the cold palace. Nathan understood and called the knights. They explained that the maid paid for the girl and tricked her family by saying that she is going for maid service, but instead, she would be sent to the cold palace. Ardella knew that this might be the case and that Christian would do something like this. She tells them to keep a watch at the place where the maid is kept and that they follow them if they move. Before leaving, the knight asked the princess to punish them as they were not there to protect them, but she ignores it by saying that it wasn't their fault and that she knew who the real culprits are and that they should be punished. Ardella asks where were the guards who were supposed to be on lookout. Were they dead? If not, she will punish them. Nathan tells Ardella that he investigated it, and it turns out that due to heavy rain, all the guards were near the river to ensure the crops don't get damaged. Ardella asks why is there enough manpower, and from the reports he understands that all the assets the kingdom has aren't being used properly, which is causing issues between commoners finding jobs and the rich easily getting all the necessities. She knows Christian is handling this and he is the reason behind such chaos. She wonders that she only got to know this now as she was never told about the council's affairs before. She thinks hard and wide as to how to resolve all these issues. The royal guard noticed that her head is steaming, but it turns out it was just the hair potion wearing off. Ardella had a few things in mind. She needs to fix the Lily situation, find where the barg had went, and find out who that masked man was. A week later, the princess had recovered, and then Nathan comes with the investigation report. He mentions that no one was able to find him as it was raining that day and all the evidence was washed off, and the witness who did see something were too much focused on the barg. Ardella feels sad as she really wanted to feel that warmth again. Meanwhile, we see the barg eating food from Asael. His friends laugh and tell him that the barg doesn't eat from them and only listens to Asael. He thinks that it's easy and laughs, but the barg almost attacks him. Asael tells him that even without its eyes, he can sense loud noises, so they must be careful. The barg tries to attack a maid, but the Duke of Kara, Rosaline, is standing in front of it. She accuses Asael that he is enjoying his time here and raising pets. She explains that Asael is a dragon's power that makes other creatures submit to him. That's why the barg doesn't attack him. He explains that the circus was attacked and he stepped in to save the people, and the only person in the wrong are those who trapped this poor animal far from his home. The Duke tells him that their castle won't allow a barg, to which Asael says that he will return it home once it heals up. She scolds him for extending this trip and that his father is furious. He tells them he is only a prince and not a representative. The Duke, Rosaline, tells him that he should return now, but she knows the actual reason he is staying. It is said that Prince Asael can find barren lands and turn them into treasure. He seems to know which land has gems or gold. Some say it is because he is a descendant of a dragon that liked jewels. Asael asks for one more day and Rosaline leaves. He tells his friend that they must get ready to leave for Asken, as it may look like a barren wasteland, but in will bring great fortune. In the palace, Ardella looks at her portrait and thanks the painter and appreciates that he made such a great masterpiece. She leaves and thinks about her next step. She knows that Lily will be moved soon, so she needs a plan. Just at that moment, Christian walks by and Ardella asks him about what Lily is doing. He replies that she is getting ready for her journey to the cold palace. Ardella taunts him by saying that she is a criminal and that she should act like one. She also tells him that he shouldn't blame her as Lily is suffering due to her own sins, which make Christian even more awkward. In this interaction, Ardella found out that Lily herself is behind this master plan. She mocks Christian while leaving that Lily should hurry and her patience isn't so understanding. Christian tells her that she shouldn't be happy as if she's gotten everything, because soon he will take them from her. Ardella asks Nathan about the scouts and miners for Asken and if they are ready. He tells that they are ready and when should they leave. She tells them that right now they should move and check the land. She knows that she will find rare stones and gems there, and digging them and refining them will be the real task. She wonders if she should ask help from Caro. Ardella sets out and decides to take the horse as the carriage would take double the amount of time to reach there and even more when coming back. She is all set to go and view her island. Nathan tells her that these two knights will be joining her. The two knights who were in charge of Lily joined Erdella on her quest. They quickly made their way to Asken, and they waited for the expedition leader, who showed up and thanked the princess for this opportunity. He explained that he loves mining and always wanted to mine in Asken, but couldn't even set foot inside Duger royal families. He further explains that intends to find some rare gems. The knights as if they should turn on the lanterns, and as they turn them on they spot a few blue lights from afar. Princess Erdella's first thought was the blue flame, and she tells them to slowly follow them. At first she, though, maybe Christian sent his men to investigate, but in fact, they were those shirtless guys the princess had seen during a parade. Erdella moves forward and questions them and asks what they are doing on private land and that they are not allowed to come here. Asel will step forward and tell them to go away as this place is for royalty only. Erdella laughs in her head. She removes the cape form Asel and demands to know what they are doing here on her land. She quickly grabs her sword while her men surround them. She then reveals her face. Asel is shocked. He now can see that the women who fought the Barg and the fiery women all were the same, as they both had the same stance and the same flair in them. Duke Rosaline is summoned in the middle of the night, and she appears before the princess. She asks if these culprits are related to her, and she claims that they are. Erdella asks if these were the friends who she wanted to meet, and she replied that yes, they were. Rosaline explains that Asel is an important person for her and that she is responsible for her friend's actions. Erdella accepts her apology but lingers the conversation by explaining that Caro and Inuus have had a long relationship and they have been friends since her father's time. She asks them to answer honestly that how they knew this land was royalty and why did they come in the middle of the night to view it, and that she won't believe any rubbish story. She even tells that if they were armed, this could have started a war. Asel gets up and explains everything, that Duke Christian had planned on selling him the land and I could only view the place at night due to restrictions. He was only following rules set by Duke Christian. He even presented a witness who testified that all this true. After hearing their side, Erdella got pissed that even for a piece of land he decided to play a double game, so that if the situation got worse he could accuse me of destroying diplomatic relations over a piece of land. Asel explains that if he knew that the land belonged to the princess, he would have never dreamt of doing such a thing. Erdella knew that he wasn't lying and explains that she owns the land, not Duke Christian, and that it is forbidden to sell royal land to foreigners. Duke Rosaline gets angry at how can a duke behave this way. Asel tells that they aren't at fault as they had no idea of this transaction. Erdella notices that he looks awful, like the man who saved her from the Barg. He had the same blonde hair and magic crystal, but she shakes it off. Asel asks if something was wrong, but she doesn't think much of it. Erdella, for her amusement, adds a rule that if any person is found trespassing on royal grounds, they will have to become servants of the princess. Duke Rosaline is shocked and can't believe it. Duke Rosaline asks if there is any other way to resolve this matter, that if the Emperor of Caro finds out it will be bad. Erdella tells them that they are on Inua's land and that they must abide by its rules. Rosaline asks for mercy, so Erdella says that instead of having them become slaves, what can the Empire provide them that can be as equal to them? Asel agrees and asks what she wants and promises to provide whatever she needs. She asks what the Empire can provide and gives them time to think and leaves the tent. Asel apologies, but Rosaline has had enough and asks what has he been doing lurking around in the night for. Asel tells that he wanted to know if there was treasure here. Rosaline already knew that and tells Asel to give the princess whatever she needs so that they can get out of this mess. Rosaline tells them that they need to take this seriously as they might become slaves, to which Asel says that maybe the princess is just bluffing in order to get what she needs. Rosaline questions him that why would she lie. Asel tells her that she is not one who keeps salve under her. She is caring and sympathetic towards her people and would never treat them as slaves, as she fought to keep those same people alive. Asel decides that from now on he will trade with the best items, so make the princess smile. Outside the tent, the expedition leader rushes over to the princess in excitement that Asken is full of treasure and that all the tools are going crazy. He explains how happy he is as he has never seen such an amazing piece of land. He shows the tools he got from the Empire, as the tools Inuas are not advanced enough to detect treasure. Erdella asks how they work, and the leader explains that the Empire usually uses 10 such tools to better their results, as not all of them are accurate, but here on Asken all 10 of these started going crazy, indicating that this land is full of gems, treasure, and jewels. Erdella tells them to stop their research, and now they need to start development here to dig these gems up. She must first deal with the Duke Rosaline first. Nathan asks that would she really enslave them. He thinks that the yellow-eyed person may be from the royal family and it could cause future issues. Erdella claims even if it was the Emperor himself, she would still treat them the same. She now knows their weakness and she can use them to get what she wants. Well, it is all for now. Remember to